The greatest threat to the constitutional right to vote is voter fraud. Lynn Westmoreland. Back in May of 2018, I did a video entitled Illegal Immigrant Smugglers Should Be Prosecuted. In it, I showed how illegals are being provided charter buses by Pueblos Sin Fronteras and other organizations to illegally transport them to the United States. A link to that video is in the description below. We fast forward to October 19th, 2018. The Associated Press reported that a Pueblos Sin Fronteras employee was arrested by Mexican authorities. On November 1st, 2018, Fox News reported the caravan requested Mexico to bus them to the United States. This time, the Mexican government refused. So, what did they do? Well, like feminists and other SJWs, they doubled down. The caravan and the illegal human trafficking organizations that sponsor them retained attorneys to help them illegally smuggle thousands of non-citizens into the United States under color of law. How are they attempting to do this? Their attorneys filed a federal civil lawsuit falsely accusing President Trump of permanently detaining illegal aliens in tent cities without any evidence to support their allegations whatsoever. The lawsuit itself even concedes Trump hasn't done anything the suit alleges. You see, the key word in the lawsuit is permanent internment, which the lawsuit itself admits is a verifiable lie. To date, the Trump administration hasn't unconstitutionally or illegally permanently detained anyone. Even more damning, page 5 of their lawsuit actually concedes that U.S. law gives Trump the legal right to permanently detain illegal aliens without a bond hearing. The thing is, illegal human traffickers already clog the immigration courts. Time magazine reported on September 25, 2018. With a backlog totaling nearly 750,000 cases as of the end of August, asylum seekers might face months, even years, in detention. That's the illegal traffickers' goal: to continue to fraudulently overwhelm the court systems and force the government to open its borders to any rapist, murderer, drug cartel, or terrorist who desires unlawful entry into the United States. The lawsuit's admission that U.S. law authorizes the detention of illegals without a bond hearing is an admission against interest that demonstrates they've got no legal leg or factual basis to stand on. This is the textbook definition of a frivolous suit, which I might add, if the government is on their game, allows them to request the federal courts to sanction the illegal human traffickers for wasting the court's time. Amusingly, it's also a desperate overreach on the part of the socialist left. It's important to note that this suit was filed in federal court. Therefore, it's governed by the federal rules of evidence. The relevant rule to this issue is Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12b. This is the rule that governs how to present defenses and objections in federal civil suits. It states in pertinent part, how to present defenses. Every defense to a claim for relief in any pleading must be asserted in the responsive pleading if one is required. But a party may assert the following defenses by motion: lack of personal jurisdiction, improper venue, failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. So, let's talk about these defenses. First, the United States court lacks jurisdiction over the caravan because none of the members are on U.S. soil. Further, but just as importantly, at the time the lawsuit was filed, none of these members have filed for asylum, which means that none of the named parties are actually asylum seekers. Basically, by the lawsuit referring to these individuals as asylum seekers without a valid application for asylum, the attorneys for the human traffickers are lying to the court. This sort of bad faith behavior is often sanctionable. Second, let's talk about improper venue. Filing an independent civil court action can arguably be perceived as unethical forum shopping because the arguments contained in the illegal human traffickers lawsuit are more correctly made before a federal immigration court, not a federal civil court. In other words, the human traffickers know their positions have no merit before an immigration court. So they filed this lawsuit in a federal civil court instead to make an end run around the immigration courts, hoping a pussy hat wearing activist judge will side with them. Finally, let's look at the third defense: failure to state a claim in which relief can be granted. The human traffickers admit that U.S. law gives the Trump administration the legal right to hold smuggled aliens without a bond hearing. Further, the lawsuit admits that none of the caravan members it claims to represent have actually suffered any of the harm the lawsuit claims. In layman's terms, the lawsuit, on its face, openly admits it's a frivolous bullshit tactic to scare politicians and gain public sympathy to assist non-citizens to illegally enter the United States under the color of law. Even worse, the human traffickers are using this lawsuit to fraudulently paint these caravan members as legitimate asylum seekers. However, the caravan itself and the Mexican government have both publicly admitted the caravan members are not seeking asylum. That's right. They don't give a shit about asylum. Going back to Time magazine, they reported on October 27, 2018, Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto launched a program on Friday dubbed You Are Home, which promises shelter, medical attention, schooling, and jobs to Central Americans. Thousands of migrants rejected the plan Friday night. The Mexican government offered the caravan members asylum. They were offered free shelter, medical attention, and jobs, and the caravan migrants turned it all down. When the caravan turned down the Mexican government's legitimate offer of asylum, they, in effect, admitted they're not asylum seekers. This verifiable fact completely and fatally undermines the entire basis of the human traffickers lawsuit. It's an admission that the lawsuit is not only without any merit, it's potentially a criminal fraud committed to help non-citizens violate U.S. immigration laws by fraudulently characterizing these people as asylum seekers. So why is the left so desperate to import non-citizens into the United States? Well, it's pretty simple. It's about power. Here's some fast facts. Fox News on September 5, 2018, reports that California's leftist government may have illegally registered nearly 23,000 non-residents to vote in violation of federal voting laws. Breitbart, on October 24, 2018, reports that at least 1,400 non-citizens were illegally registered to vote in the Detroit area in violation of federal voting laws. On the following day, October 25, 2018, Breitbart reported that a Texas Democratic Party leader and feminist, Leticia Sanchez, funded and participated in a voter fraud ring and was indicted by the Texas Attorney General. On September 11, 2018, the Washington Examiner reported that illegal immigrants stole nearly 40 million Social Security numbers that may have been used by illegal immigrants to get work. Newsmax reported on March 16, 2018, the Internal Revenue Service documented over 1.2 million cases of illegal immigrants filing tax returns with illegitimate Social Security numbers in 2017. We identified 1,227,579 electronically filed tax returns processed in fiscal year 2017 through April 18, 2017, in which the individual taxpayer identification number on the return doesn't match the Social Security number on Form W-2. You see, the left is systemically and illegally financing and importing non-citizens into the United States to illegally register them to vote. Then they want to use their fraudulent votes to overthrow our democratically elected government. However, there's a silver lining for government officials willing to hold these federal criminals accountable. Let me break it down. Like I said before, the verifiable facts demonstrate the illegal human traffickers lawsuit is frivolous and fraudulent on its face. The government can not only dismiss the lawsuit, but it can potentially sanction the caravan and those organizations who financed it, including the attorneys, since they knowingly filed a frivolous court action. Further, since the attorneys are actively working with non-citizens attempting to misuse U.S. asylum law to fraudulently enter the United States, they are potentially accomplices to a federal crime. Section 18 of the U.S. Code states in pertinent part, "Whoever knowing that an offense against the United States has been committed, receives, relieves, comforts, or assists the offender in order to hinder or prevent his apprehension, trial, or punishment is an accessory after the fact." This frivolous suit filed in the federal courts, to me, was filed specifically to criminally hinder the government in their attempts to enforce U.S. immigration law. Every person and organization who participated, supported, or assisted in this lawsuit and the caravan's illegal attempts to enter our country is also potentially guilty of a federal crime. If the government's balls and backbone aren't on layaway, I believe there's enough evidence to open up a criminal investigation and obtain search warrants for the law offices of every attorney associated with this fraudulent lawsuit and seize everything. Then, freeze these law firms' assets as part of the criminal investigation, because fuck you, that's why. If it's found that these attorneys received any money for this lawsuit, those funds should be forfeited under U.S. law. Those who financed the lawsuit should be also placed under criminal investigation as criminal accessories to defraud the U.S. asylum system as well. Then search warrants should be issued and their assets frozen also. The left's continuous assault on our voting rights, right to bear arms, and free speech rights is nothing less than a full-spectrum war to overthrow our country and destroy our hard-earned way of life. So remember, the only thing that evil feminists, SJWs, and their socialist corporate financiers need to destroy our country is for law-abiding Americans of conscience to do nothing. These solutions are both realistic and easily implemented. Any government official unwilling to defend the integrity of our constitutional right to vote, our right to bear arms, and our right to freedom of speech should be immediately moved from office in disgrace. Any political party, corporation, or non-profit entity that seeks to undermine our constitutional right to vote, bear arms, or freedom of speech should be disbanded or otherwise dissolved. If we don't defend our constitutional rights, we don't deserve them. I'm DDJ, and this has been your dose of Misandry today.